national anthem now. Yes, then national anthem is over now. Now we are starting our course. As I told you before, since 5 years old, every year in 10th of November, between 5 past 9, we pay respect to his memory. Now I'm going to devote my first part of my course, at least I'm going to devote on the science and technology policy of Mustafa Kemal. Scientific and technological developments in early years of Turkish Republic. Sorry, that's 1923 is the year Republic established. Of course, if we come back to history, and he lived until 1938. So it's only the 15 years he was governing the state. But if you look at the history, after the First World War, that was the situation. So this part was allocated for Italians. That part is allocated for Greeks. Izmir is the major city. And Marmara region is a special, they call it Bosphorus region. So since in the First World War, there was a fierce fighting in particularly in Dardanelles. We call it Çanakkale Boğazı. Therefore, the countries who won the war, they exactly knew how important those Bosphorus or gates. These are the gates that to Black Sea. Black Sea means Russia. And if you remember the history, if the navy of particularly the British and French navy passed through those Dardanelles gate and reach to Karadeniz, then probably they are going to help the Tsar in Russia, and probably most likely they are going to save the Tsar, and then no Soviet or revolution, no revolution would have been occurred over there. So the history was different. So and also that part was British. But however, when the First World War ended, the level is not somewhere there, is somewhere there. So that part was also belonged to Ottoman Empire. After the First World War, the Greek army, which moved towards very near to Ankara, so they captured that land. Anyway, Mustafa Kemal formed a new army and fought against the invaders, and then saved the country, and the country became an independent republic. that is very important, very starting point. And when the war was over, we all know, we all remember that very few people were educated. You see, in Ottoman state or Ottoman Empire policy was such that the minorities, or the Christian minorities I'm talking about, mainly Christian minorities, are educated, and also they are controlling the economical system. And all the British companies and French companies are operating inside the empire, so they capture everything. No, that there would be no national sea lines, for example, no national railway, for example, and all of the trade was controlled by the, although state, Ottoman Empire, old name was Empire, state was over there, but the economical control, economical system is totally controlled by the imperialist powers, let's say, British, French, and that sort of countries at that time. When the republic established, there was a agreement between the Western countries and Turkey, and first of all, the Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's government accepted all the money they should be paid to the Western countries, and this money is paid. But all the sea lines, railways, the other ports, and everything are nationalized, became the countries itself. So that is the major become independent economically. Okay, but he was a great commander. I'm not going to talk about this one, since my course is about science, technology, and ethics. We already have seen major steps for scientific approach. For scientific approach, you observe things, you prepare hypotheses, you make measurements, then you, after measurements, you decide to whether you verify your hypothesis or not, and then you end up with, this is a scientific manner you have already discussed. But we also have seen there would be a lot of conflict between the scientific people, particularly in the West, scientific people and the church. We have already seen that one. Of course, in our society, kind of let's say influence was there. For example, people were writing books by hand. Then they resisted to enter the country those modern printing equipments and things like this. So the population was uneducated. Mainly the Muslim population was uneducated, and particularly the Christian minority were, of course, well educated, comparatively well educated with those Muslim society. Okay, so he made some revolutions. First one is the secularism. Secularism means state governed by the law, independent law. So there is no religious law or religious rules involving the controlling the state. This is everyone was right to believe and implement their religious rules individually, but state is not doing that. State is a kind of institution which has got separate laws, and those laws are applied equally to each religious people. Cannot differentiate Muslim, Christian, or Jewish. Second one was the major one, gender equality. For example, Turkey is one of the earliest countries in the world to give rights to vote for women. Even we always talk about how Switzerland people are wealthy and well educated and things like this, but they gave voting rights to women much lower than Turkey at that time. So that is the gender equality is very important. Also, sharing when the parents die, sharing the wealth between the girls and boys are equal. There are a lot of in judiciary system. There are a lot of revolution has been made. Private registry system. Financial system, of course, is nationalized. I'm going to come back to that policy. And also land and agriculture policy. He devoted a lot of time on this one in order to improve the agricultural products. He introduced a lot of new, probably you may, of course, some of you already know that. The tea, for example, during the Ottoman time, there were no tea plants. So tea plants came during the Republic time. Tea and Rize region, for example, north part of Turkey, Rize, Trabzon, particularly Rize, there, and also the other parts, very near to those. There are a lot of tea plantations now, and the Turkish tea is famous, and we Turks are generally be called, I'm sorry, tea drinkers. Industry policy, I'm going to come back, and also foreign policy, which is very important. Foreign policy. He says, peace in land and peace in world. I repeat, peace in land. That means peace inside the country is important, and also peace in the world is very important. So that is the policy he has made. He has some famous sentences. One of them, the torch the Turkish nation holds in hand and in mind, on the way to progress and civilization, it has set out is positive science. So he believes in positive science. This is the topic of my course. I repeat, the torch, el feneri biliyorsunuz in Turkish. The torch the Turkish nation holds in hand and in mind. Elinde ve beyninde. On the way to progress and civilization, ilerlemenin ve medenileşmenin yolunda, it has set out is positive science. Sadece pozitif science'tır diyor. İkinci şeyi de çok güzel. Science is a most genuine guide in life. Seeking guidance except for science is negligence, ignorance, and deviation from the right path. Science is the most genuine guide in life. Yaşamın en önemli rehberidir. Seeking guidance except for science is negligence, ignorance, and deviation. Eğer science'ı ihmal ederseniz, onu göz ardı ederseniz, bu diyor doğru yoldan sapmanızın bir nedenidir, bir ihmalkarlıktır, bir gerilemedir diyor. So if you go further, this is also his very famous sentence. I leave no doctrine, no dogma, no fixed stereotype or rule behind as my moral heritage. Benim manevi mirasım için ben herhangi bir böyle dogma, doktrin falan bırakmıyorum diyor. My moral heritage is a science and reason. Bakın bu reason kelimesinin üzerinde çok duracağım çocuklar. Reason and reasoning is the fundamental basics of the scientific and technological developments. Rational thinking, rasyonel düşünme. So I repeat, my moral heritage is science and reason. Benim manevi mirasım bilim ve akıldır. those who want to adopt my ideas after I cease to exist will become my spiritual hearers if they accept the guidance of reason and knowledge on this basic axis. Benim vücudum elbet bir gün toprak olacak ama eğer benim bu şeylerimi takip ederseniz diyor, bu size yol gösterecektir. Evet, bu Türkçe'de de çok kullanılan meşhur sözüdür Atatürk'ün. The famous sentence he said in past. As I told you before, 1923, when the republic was established, it was really a poor state and also lost a lot of lives. The population was low, only probably 7 million or 6 million or something like this. For example, in 1933 is the 10th year of celebration has done. Now we have done 100 years, of course, you know that. That 10th celebrations, there's a famous song. In 10 years, we have 10 million, 10 million, 15 million people. So probably at the beginning it was 9 million or something like this in 1923. So in 10 years, the population reached 15 million. Atatürk's era started with the Economic Congress in Izmir in 1923. Even before the declaration of the Republic in Izmir, he formed an Economic Congress. During that Economic Congress, they decided to give permission to particularly the individuals to become industrialists and make a business and things like this. But when 1929 came, something happened in the Western world. It was called Big Crisis, Kara Cuma, Black Friday, 1929. Many companies lost their business, and many people in the Western countries, in the United States, suicided. So it was terrible. The economy was terrible. In 1929, Turkey has made an economic plan, worked together with the people in Russia as well during that time. Since in Russia there's a communist regime and it was completely different. But the difference between Turkish state and the Soviet Russia is a major one. In Russia, there was a working class. There were industry. But in Turkey, industry was not there. So there is no working people. So therefore, Turkey has adopted the kind of state-owned, proposing or supporting state-owned companies. It's called etatism, devletçilik. All right. Then initially started with fabrication of agricultural products such as sugar factories and etc. Food is important, so they try to develop the industry in food business. Then also there are some banks established, and also the companies, textile companies, iron steel companies, cement industries were established by state, by the way, between 1929 and until the 1938, until the of course until 1950, after Atatürk passed away, this policy has continued, state-owned industry. And also the railways, for example, sea lines, they were established. Even at that time, Turkey was one of the few countries capable to manufacture aeroplanes. You probably would be surprised, particularly those Turkish students know that one, but our originally Arabic students, they probably be surprised that Turkey was also managed to manufacture aeroplane at that time, and also they established railway links. So there was a state-owned, let's say, developments occurred in the country between the last part of his life. After his life, it's continued until 1950. 1950, there was a free election, and as a result of the election, the government has changed, and the Liberal Party, let's say Democrat Party, took power. So this is also one major example of the democracy, that a, a, a, a party which is a founder of the almost founder of the republic, then they have changed hands. They freely left the power to the opposite party. All right. So I'm not going to continue longer than this. So this is my last part of my presentation about industrial and scientific approach of the Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. I believe secularism in Turkey or other countries are important, since in that case no one is accused the others for either being Shiites or Sunnis. Şii ve Sünni, biliyorsunuz, there is a conflict between those. So, and also Western countries are they also encourage those divisions. Be careful about that one. This is my, of course, personal opinion. Okay, so that's the end of this session. So we are going to come. But by the way, the last sentence I'm going to talk about him. Now we are in the 21st century, and whatever he said, whatever he tried to do, whatever the direction he showed us, is still there. It's a correct way. I totally believe that we should continue in that manner. Thank you. Let's come back the course material. Of course, as a lecturer, or as a person whose age is over 70, I must share something else. This is my view. As a person, you never allow in your hate or hatred. Hate is something easy to build up, but feeling good things, believing peace, respecting other views is difficult. Humankind is created that it's very easy to become angry and then to think revenge and things like this. Now, what I'm seeing now, between the conflict, the Palestinians and the Israelis, you already know that during the Second World War, millions of Jews are killed by a regime, Nazist regime. So it is easy to show certain people that they should be destroyed. They are evil. They are devil. That is that is very easy to follow the people to do that. Now, as far as Palestinians, Arabs, and also Turks are concerned, we are Muslim. We have to be careful. We have to be careful that what what Israelis now are doing is against human rights. Nobody, I cannot accept that one. Nobody can accept it. All right. But we should always keep that not all the Israelis, not all the Jews are feeling that way. Most, I'm sure most of them, I'm not talking about the people only inside the Israel either. I'm talking about the whole community. I'm sure a lot of people feeling that it is what's happening in Palestine now in Gaza is shame, is humiliating. And it is rather more humiliating that a nation which is faced in history with a massacre being killed, now they are doing the similar thing, right? So look at the way in positive direction and believe in peace. Peace is very important, and secularism is uh, Israel was secular state, but now it's not. Is changing. Secularism is very important in order to protect the peace. Okay, thank you. Let's come back. We have in our course, we have seen that a lot of scientists are criticized by the church, particularly by the religious people, and some of them were punished. Last week we have also seen Bruno's life. The other famous people, we talked about that one. Now I'm going to give you some notes about scientific thinking. Okay, let me upload that file. Scientific methods, you remember: observation, asking a question, gathering information, forming hypothesis, testing the hypothesis. Of course, simulations now doing that. Bir dakika, birisi bir şey yazmış, onu da okuyayım bakayım. Ahmet Faiz, I read your note. Yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Nobody has no rights to invade other people's land and kick them out of that land. Nobody. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Okay, let's go back to the science, technology, and ethics. Okay. Yeah, technology. Remember that last week we have made the definition of the technology, and we talked about the process to produce a product. So this is what technology is all about. Well, and also we discussed last week technology readiness level. Technology readiness level means it's over here. Technology readiness level. So you are deciding, you are in the lab working in the lab, you develop a prototype, you make experiments. That is, for example, readiness level 5. This one. That point is readiness level 5. That or maximum 6. But from that part, you are applying it in the plant, actual plant, and prepare a manufacturing. At the end, maximum readiness level was 9. That one is 9. That one is 0. And that one is somewhere 5 or something like this. In lab experiments, 5, 6. So that means product is in the market. Okay. For example, we have a lot of electric vehicles now be sold. What does technology readiness level we have discussed? And also S-curves we have discussed. What is S-curve? You remember that. I draw a lot of examples about this. These are technology readiness level we have discussed last week. And also examples we have talked about that one, technology readiness level. And the invention and property rights, and what is innovation. This is what we are going to discuss right now. But before doing that, I would like to show you we have also talked about this one last week. I just warming up. You see, scientific and reasoning approach of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk is very important, but it's a part of the scientific mind technology development of the humankind. He's being inside the history. Is starting from minus probably 20,000, minus 20,000. Now we are in the plus 2,000. So it's a long humankind technology, scientific thinking, technology development process. It's a long history, long, let's say, battle, savaş. Yani medenileşme savaşı, teknoloji geliştirme savaşı, e, zihinsel, kognitif purity fight. Yani zihinsel şeyleri, bir takım yanlışları temizleme savaşı aynı zamanda in Turkish. So I repeat, the purity of the cognitive established old ideas to revolutionize, to change those well-established figures and to become rational thinking, akılcıl düşünce, rational thinking. Okay. So before doing that, however, I'm going to give you another technical knowledge. Knowledge is divided by two parts. Tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. If we look together the tacit knowledge, bakın dokunuyorum şimdi Google'a. Tacit senet filan demek aynı zamanda. The knowledge, okuyorum buradan. Tacit knowledge is the knowledge you have gained through living experience, both in your personal life and professional development. It is often subjective. Subjective means kişisel, informal, and difficult to share or express because it is affected by your personal beliefs and values. Ama you gain it with your life. Of course, your father's, your mother's life also affect that one. This is tacit knowledge. Tekrar geri dönüyorum. Tacit knowledge is reached with experience, with thinking, with competence, the commitment. D'de bakmam lazım. Bir dakika. Bakmıştım, unuttum gene. Deed senet demek herhalde ya. Bir dakika. Ama tabii burada senet anlamında değil. Evet, burada senet diyor ama bu çok derin anlamı olan bir kelime. Belge, belgeleme. Gerçek. Spellingini duymak ister misiniz? Ben her zaman yaparım. Şimdi İngiliz aksanıyla dinleyeceksiniz. Bu da Amerikan aksanı. Avustralya aksanı. Evet. Ben İngiliz aksanıyla konuşmaya çalışırım. Deeds. Mesela bakın, tapu. Ama mesela hadislere de deed demiş. Tapu Sicil Müdürlüğü, tapu senedi. Burada bizde yani daha the knowledge we are receiving from our early people and early religious books. Evet, gidiyorum. Yeter bu kadar. Evet. Deed'i de anlamış olduk. Commitments. Bunlar tacit knowledge. 5% of the knowledge is only explicit. Data, information, documents, records, files. So that is on top of it. That's what you are actually. What I am. Now we are working on a certain uh, topic. Then we have data, we have information, we have documents, we read papers. This is only 5%. 95% that you are here. This is tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. That is the note. This is the fellow who wrote those notes. I pick it up in his article. Business process, customer experience, intelligent automation, quality assurance, and vendor management. Vendor company falan demek biliyorsunuz. Open immersive reader. All knowledge that the world has ever received comes from the mind. The infinite library of the universe is in our own mind. Books are infinite in number and time is short. The secret of knowledge is to take what is essential. Take that and try to live up to it. Bu derin bir laf çocuklar bu. Ağır bir şey. Felsefi bir cümle. Ama önemli bir cümle. Özetle demek istiyor ki kitaplar var binlerce, bir sürü iş. I'm sorry for Turkish. I'm going to repeat in English. Bir sürü bir şey var. Ama diyor bu sende nasıl bir yankı buldu? Senin beyninde nasıl bir yer açtı? Önemli olan odur diyor. Baştan okuyorum. All knowledge that the world has ever reached comes from the mind. The infinite library of the universe is in our own mind. Hepimizin birlikte bir beyni istiyor. Is there a certain approach? Abu Bakar yazıyor. Okuyorum şimdi. Moment. Is there a certain approach to know what is the most essential when learning something? And no, actually, they are classifying knowledge. Of course, learning methods are completely different. Abu Bakar, not learning approach. Of course, those 5% you are learning part. The other part you have already got that one. Books are infinite in number and time is short. So you can't read all of those. The secret of knowledge is to take what is essential. Take that and try to live up to it. Şimdi there are some famous professors. They don't say they are lecturing. They say I'm also still learning. As I told you, I'm over 70, and I still believe that even the area I'm the most experienced, for example, power electronics and control systems, I'm also a student. There's a very famous saying, the day I start learning the topic, the day I realize I know nothing about it, they say. Yani hakikaten çok bilgili insanlar ne kadar az bildiğini bilenlerdir. Bu cümleyi bir tekrar edeyim isterseniz in English. Those who has lot of knowledge in their minds, those people are the people who know how less they know about the deep topics. Bu önemli, öğrenme, bilgi filan, bunlar tabii karışık işler. Biz biraz gidelim. Bu definition'ı bir okuyayım. Yani bu tasitten geldik. Knowledge, bilgi konusunu konuşuyoruz. Şimdi şu resme bir bakalım önce. Is created dynamically. Knowledge ortada. Is the basis for all action. is intrinsically linked to the people is the result of cognitive process. Biliyorsunuz cognitive process beyinsel faaliyet demek. So this is the result of it diyor. Yani 4 parça produce the knowledge diyor. I might call it personality as well. Neyse devam edelim. Şimdi okuyalım bakalım ne yazmışlar. Knowledge, kürsörümü de takip edin. Knowledge is considered a valuable asset to organizations. Oh, not personally, for organizations. Now, knowledge, probably they also mean know-how. Knowledge is the dominant and probably the only source of organizations' competitive advantage. Tabii know-how bu. A paradigm shift has changed a way that knowledge is viewed. Çocuklar bu paradigm shift önemli bir kelime. Biz paradigma diye kullanıyoruz. Yani o ana kadar oluşmuş the values or society generally accepted that one is correct. That's paradigm. But it's changing. So those who manage to change the paradigm in their companies and their minds are of course leaders. Employees used to stay at organization for their full career lives. Now, however, employees are switching jobs several times. When they leave, they take their knowledge with them. Therefore, knowledge hoarding among individuals can hurt the organization, while knowledge sharing and collaboration can benefit the organization by allowing the knowledge to stay within the organization. Bu biraz economic, it's a rather economic approach. But one thing I will tell you, some companies, when they hire a person, get a job, give a job to a person, they make a contract with him. The first item, he's not going to use the knowledge he has got for the benefit of other companies when they left. The second one, quite often they do, he cannot resign in 3 years' time, for example. So you are going to stay at least 3 years here work. But now the young generation is willing to change their jobs and to get better salary or promote. There are two reasons to change the business, to change the job. One of them is the salary. You see, because of the inflation now, the salary is very high in Turkey for our area. Salary is very high. So if you are working here with that level, and if there's a job available over there, so you jump here. And the second one, of course, you believe that you would like to be a manager, but you realize that they are not going to give you a manager post. Therefore, you are going to spend a lot of time, and you will never get the manager or director. There's a director above the manager level. Then you change the job. Isn't that the first term on the contract is a type of knowledge hoarding? Oh yes, the companies they don't like that their job their know-how, but although they try to protect it, it is impossible to do that. I remember there was a very famous engineer worked in Google to develop a driverless vehicle. I don't remember his name now. He developed he worked in a team to develop a driverless vehicle. Then he resigned the company and he has signed that he's not going to use that knowledge. But what he did, he formed a company with a major another major group for truck. So he says I'm not using that knowledge for automobiles. I'm using it truck. Then Google Google put them in judiciary system, so they open tazminatın İngilizcesi neydi ya? They expect some compensation. They said it should be forbidden. Then the second company who used that knowledge for truck business paid a lot of compensation to Google for technology thief, let's say, or technology transfer. Okay, it's not a technology transfer. It's a technology, let's say, stealing, technology cheating. Anyway, this is tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge is the knowledge of experience tends to be subjective and physical. It is about here and now, relates to a specific practical context. Nonaka böyle tanımlamış. The characteristics of tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge is personal, known by an individual and context specific. Tacit knowledge is highly experienced and difficult to document and communicate. Tacit knowledge sharing involves learning. Tacit knowledge is your own, the way you build up in company, in society, whatever it is. Bakayım başka sayfa var mı? Hala bir şeyler yazmışım. Tacit knowledge cannot easily be codified but can only be transmitted via training and experience. Tacit knowledge is about know-how, know what, know why, know who. Bu çok güzel yazmış kim yazdıysa. Yani sadece nasıl yapıldığı değil. Bu nedir? Bu niçin böyledir? And bu kimdir? Bunu yapan kimdir? Filan gibi. Examples of non-tacit knowledge. Hands-on skills, special know-how and experiences of employees. Tips on dealing with difficult challenge. Feedback from customers over the phone. Best practices of the most prolific salesperson and opinion expressed by management about why competitors are doing well. Bak bu da ilginç. Opinion expressed by management about why competitors are doing well. Rakiplerin neyi iyi yaptıklarıyla ilgili oluşan yönetim bilgisi de, görüş de tacit bilgiç. Explicit hangisi o zaman? Tacit'te her şey var o zaman. Değil mi? Everything is in. Explicit de burada. Explicit knowledge of rationality and trends to be metaphysical objective often relates to past events or objects there and then, oriented towards a context-free theory. Gene Nonaka yazmış. Characteristics of explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is more formal. Data falan demiştik hatırlarsan. Explicit knowledge is context independent. Explicit knowledge is easily shared. Explicit knowledge is reproducible. Explicit knowledge can easily be codified, documented, transformed and conveyed in systematic way. Evet, yani data özünde data, I'm sorry. Biz Türkçe data deriz buna. Explicit. Examples of the explicit'e bir bakalım nelermiş. Yani know-how şeyde kaldı. Tacit'te kaldı. Documented work, procedures and policies, operating procedure for jobs. Çocuklar bir dakika, gözlerim çok yaşardı. Hiç ara vermeden devam ediyorum. Vardığım bir yer var. Oraya geldiğimde tamam diyeceğim. Çok da zaman kalmadı. Examples of explicit knowledge. Documented work, procedures and policies, operational procedure of job, contacts of potential customers in the database, formal customer complaints and suggestions, and code of conduct for the organization. Şimdi çocuklar, bu tacit and explicit is something for managerial, but it's called knowledge. Since our course is relevant with science, technology, and ethics, so knowledge also means technology. Therefore, we understand that know-how, know-why, everything is in the part of tacit knowledge. However, the published documentation, data, and things like this, or managerial rules are explicit knowledge. The cycle of learning portrays knowledge management as a spiral in which one type of knowledge gets created into another and in the progress gets shared across multiple stakeholders. There are 4 steps. O 4 adımda üretiliyormuş bu iş. Neye bakalım? Tacit to tacit. Yani tasitten tasite bilgi aktarımı. Ben de ne bulduysam koymuşum buraya. Tacit to tacit is a form of knowledge sharing that involves the transfer of tacit knowledge. Şimdi teknoloji transfere geleceğim. Onun için üzerinde de. I'm going to come back to technology transfer. Tacit knowledge to an individual group that retains it as tacit knowledge. When knowledge communities meet and common interests gets together, they informally exchange a lot of information with each other. Doğru. Konferanslarda mesela mühendisler karşılaşır, engineers meet and they talk lot of also transfer the tacit knowledge to each other. The information gets disseminated across the grapevine. I don't know that one. Grapevine. Herhalde bir şey tabiri. Boş verin. Example var. Telephonic conversation, get together, public meetings, group discussion. Telefonda da bilgi alabilirsin demek istiyor. Şimdi market surveys, opinion polls, buralarda tacit bilgiler kayar birbirine diyor. Tacit to explicit oluyor knowledge. The process of converting tacit to explicit is called externalization. That means making internal implicit knowledge external explicit. Tamam. Zaten explicit'in external olduğunu öğrendik. Tacit'ten explicit'e bir geçiş olabilir. Tacit knowledge can only be made explicit when it is possible to codify and express such knowledge formally in forms. Şimdi bakın çocuklar, anlaşıldı. Yani tacit knowledge generally is secret one. Belong to companies. Know-how çünkü orada bilgi. Ama explicit knowledge daha açık. Is open. Bakın daily or weekly reports, reviews, monthly technical reviews, traceable matrices, writing journals and articles etc. Bunlar tacit knowledge ama tacit'ten explicit'e geçiyor. Tamam mı? Şimdi explicit to tacit nasıl olacak? O datalar şimdi bakın. What I understand, I explain it. So someone is publishing explicit values, data and things like this, but I have a very good technological and academic background. I understand behind this, and I provide a new tacit knowledge for my company or my brain to write another paper. Okay. Explicit to tacit. Bakın, reading newspaper, watching television, learning through the textbooks. Particularly, he didn't tell us this. We read papers, for example. Papers are open data, so explicit knowledge. But then I read the paper and I discovered that there is something new over there, but they couldn't be clearly explained it. So I can implement it in a new area. Explicit to explicit is clear, it's easy. Explicit to explicit knowledge transformation is the process of creating a new knowledge from the existing knowledge by integrating the information using statistical techniques and pattern decision. So explicit knowledge, which is open knowledge, but you provide a new knowledge of this one. But again, it's an open explicit knowledge. Competent knowledge that resides in media such as documents, meetings, telephone conversation, and networks is combined and exchanged through the process. Bir example vermiş. Digitized form of documents and textbooks, software applications and tools. Bakın, software applications are more important than books now. And reports. İnelim bakalım aşağıya. Bunlar nerede yayınlanıyor? Published by. Bitti burada. Yazan adam da bu. Dokümanı getirdiğim insan bu. Business Process, Customer Experience, Intelligent Automation, Quality Assurance and Vendor Management. Kitabı var. Tamam mı? Evet. Şimdi bu da bittiğine göre şimdi tekrar geri döneceğim. Çocuklar, bu ders çok böyle ben merkezli gidiyor. Yani Necat Tuncay merkezli gidiyor. It's going on. I'm in the center of the course and whatever I put, you listen. I expect you to write something. I'm going to prepare a home assignment for you. Just a moment. Just wait. I'm going to give you a home assignment to you. What is invention? What is innovation? Next week, probably you are going to write to me until the next Friday. So Thursday. What about the examination week? Yeah, you can do that. What is invention and what is innovation? This is what you can do that.
Should we submit a report or something in Friday?
Yes,
Friday?
yes. Yeah, homework. I'm going to put the homework in or learn system. and then you are going to send me. What is invention and what is innovation? I'm going to put it that. However, my course is going to continue creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship, who is entrepreneur, and also product development, new innovation, and technology transfer. I'm going to continue next week on those. I'm tired now. It's already 10:15, so it's time to leave. Thank you for listening me.
Yeah, hello hocam.
Evet, dinliyorum. I'm listening.
Yeah, actually it's my first lecture today, so I want to ask you if I did miss anything.
Who are you? Just a moment. Let me look at your
Ahmed Haidar.
Ahmed. Why this is the first course?
I am a late registered student, hocam. I came late this year.
It's going to be not only for this course. I have already put course materials. Of course, it's not an easy thing to do. However,
Yeah, I mean, if there is
you
any
are going.
homework I missed, I can do it again, no problem.
No, you haven't missed any homework. However, you have missed the course materials I'm talking about.
Can we find them?
Okay, I'm going to take the attendance list. We have only 19 students or 18 students in our classroom. The last person is Yusuf Bukina, Ömer Yasir, Nizar going up, up, up. Abdul Bari is the first one, and I'm there too. So I just don't leave. I put and be sure that I have taken the attendance list. Yes, the last person, Yusuf Bokena. I can see that the first person, Abdul Bari, is already there. So now you can leave. Okay, thank you for listening my session, and I look at the homework. By the way, I'm going to put a homework, so you can answer your homeworks over there. Don't write too many things. One page or maximum 1.5 page is enough. You are already crowded classroom, so it's going to be difficult to read all of them. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.